The Battle of Stalingrad was a unique proving ground that pushed both men and machines to their absolute limits. The brutal urban combat and freezing winter conditions tested armored warfare doctrines and forced tanks to either adapt or be destroyed. During the 1942 advance, the Panzer III variants J, L, and M formed the backbone of German armored divisions, often outnumbering Panzer IVs by 2-1. Their speed allowed deep thrusts into Soviet territory, but fine dust clogged air filters, Maybach engines overheated, and fuel shortages slowed their advance. The 5cm KG-39L60 gun could defeat early T-34 models at short range, making the Panzer III effective in open terrain. However, in Stalingrad's urban battlefield, the Panzer III's speed and firepower proved inadequate. Its guns struggled against entrenched T-34s and bunkers, its thin armor was vulnerable to Soviet rifles and Molotov cocktails, and its narrow tracks became bogged down in rubble. Ambushes exploited its limited turret traverse, and its small-caliber gun was less effective for destroying fortified buildings. When Operation Uranus began, the Panzer III still made up the majority of German tanks, but was outclassed by the T-34. Fuel shortages, weak protection, and underpowered guns reduced them to mostly infantry support roles. Once encircled, they were turned into immobile strongpoints, stripped for parts until the German surrender. The long-barreled Panzer IV variants F2 and G were Germany's most effective tanks in mid-1942. Their 7.5cm KWK-40L43 gun could destroy T-34s frontally at ranges of 1,200 to 1,500 meters. Nicknamed Spitz by Soviet crews, it far outperformed the Panzer III and became the primary tank killer during the advance. In Stalingrad, the Panzer IV's firepower remained formidable, but the urban terrain reduced its advantages. Its tall profile and limited maneuverability made it vulnerable to infantry with Molotovs, anti-tank rifles, and ambushes from upper floors or basements. It was invaluable for demolishing buildings with high explosive shells, but commanders were cautious about sending them deep into the city. During Operation Uranus, Panzer IVs were deployed in small groups as fire brigades, achieving some tactical success, but ultimately being overwhelmed by Soviet numbers. Once encircled, they too became static pillboxes, camouflaged in ruins and cannibalized for spare parts. The T-34-76 was still highly respected by German crews in 1942, though fewer were concentrated around Stalingrad. Many were committed piecemeal without proper support, reducing their impact, and Luftwaffe strikes inflicted heavy losses. Still, the T-34's wide tracks gave excellent mobility over steppes and rivers, allowing ambushes and hull-down tactics. In urban fighting, the T-34 became the most effective tank. Its tracks easily crossed rubble, and many were dug in as strongpoints or used in surprise counterattacks. Paired with infantry, they destroyed German positions and terrified opposing troops. Even when immobilized, T-34s served as static bunkers. During Operation Uranus, massed T-34 brigades spearheaded breakthroughs against weak Axis flanks, quickly advancing over frozen ground. Once encirclement was achieved, they sealed off exits, patrolled the perimeter, crushed breakout attempts, and steadily reduced the pocket. The KV-1's thick armor remained nearly invulnerable to most German weapons in 1942, forcing reliance on Panzer IV F2G guns, 88mm artillery, or airstrikes. Though relatively rare, the KV-1 was a psychological weapon that could delay German advances from hull-down positions. Its impact was limited by frequent mechanical failures, slow speed, and high fuel consumption. By the time of Stalingrad, few KV-1s remained. Too slow for counterattacks, they were usually positioned as static strongpoints covering choke points, where their 76.2mm guns dominated streets. They often served as fire bases, while the more mobile T-34s handled most of the urban combat. During Operation Uranus, KV-1s spearheaded some breakthroughs, shrugging off light anti-tank fire and causing panic among defenders. However, they lagged behind the T-34s due to their slower speed. Outside the encirclement, surviving KV-1s crushed strongpoints and shielded infantry as their armor remained immune to most German guns. Overall, the Battle of Stalingrad exposed the strengths and weaknesses of each tank. The Panzer III was rendered obsolete, while the Panzer IV's firepower was limited by close-quarters fighting. The T-34 proved to be the most effective overall, its mobility and rugged design making it ideal for urban and winter warfare. The KV-1, though terrifying and nearly invincible, was too slow and unreliable to be a decisive weapon. The winter has turned in our favor. With the right maneuvers, we can push through their defenses. But our supplies are dwindling. We must avoid unnecessary engagements and wait for reinforcements. The harsh reality of warfare often lay in these tactical debates, where lives hung uncertain in their balance. Do you ever think about what it's going to be like after this is all over? Every day. But for now, we march on. For soldiers, thoughts of peace were fleeting echoes drowned by the march of war, a constant reminder of what they fight to reclaim.